In the last 3 to 4 months, our sats per share have been doubled. We were around May at 300 sats per share. We are today at 600 sats per share. And what matters is not the fiat price. What matters is the long-term accretion in Bitcoin terms per share. And that is our full focus. You can look at our website where we have all of the analytics of the strategy, and each operation is adding to the sats per share of the company. So what you have is a team of the best focused individuals and financial engineering specialists that are working every day for you to buy you more Bitcoin exposure over time. At the same time, what you should expect is that since it's an opportunity to outperform Bitcoin, it means that it's potentially more volatile than Bitcoin in fiat terms, and so that you could have a stronger downturn in a short term period. But if you believe in Bitcoin, and if you believe in the company and the leadership of the company, then any short term price drop would be what you would consider as an opportunity. And so that's why I mentioned volatility is opportunity.
This episode of the Bitcoin Economy is brought to you in part by Ledin.
Need cash but don't want to sell your Bitcoin? Ledin is the global leader in Bitcoin-backed loans, issuing over 9 billion loans since 2018. And they were the first to offer proof of reserves.
With Ledin, you get custody loans, no credit checks, no monthly payments, and more. Visit ledn.io for more information.
Welcome back to the Bitcoin Economy. We're here with Alexandre Laizet at Bitcoin Asia in Hong Kong, Director of Bitcoin Strategy at Capital B. We last connected at Strategy World in Orlando, and you were Alt BG. So the first question for you is going to be, tell us about the name change to Capital B, and welcome.
So, as you know, I'm Alexandre Laizet, board member and director of Bitcoin strategy at Capital B. Capital B was previously the blockchain group, and we made a change, of course, to be representing our laser eyes focus on Bitcoin accumulation. Capital B represents the importance of Bitcoin and why we work for Bitcoin and how we are throwing a lot of economic energy to the Bitcoin network. And capital is actually the most important word in finance in general. Everyone in the world is wanting to get more capital for itself, for its family, and for the company he works in, the society, and the world. And Capital B also represents our vision for digital capital markets, where Bitcoin is at the cornerstone of the value being created, and Bitcoin treasury companies like Capital B being the dominant powers at a regional level and at a world level for the issuance of, frankly, the best securities that can exist out there because they are backed by Bitcoin. And so we did this change, and we also recruited brilliant minds with Florence Humblé, that is now our new Bitcoin legal operations manager, and with Romaric Tenant de la Tour, who is our junior analyst that will be helping Valentin Kozanovic in the strategy of Bitcoin and scaling the operations. We also have Daniela Fonseca as chief of staff and Timothée Delverny as Bitcoin design lead. And with this dream team, we are willing to respond to the high institutional demand that we are seeing. We expect a lot of opportunities for Capital B over the next weeks and months. We have a lot of investor meetings and roadshows and potential opportunities that are coming up over in September, October, and towards the next month. So we need, of course, to have a strong team, and we have assembled it, and we are now stronger, faster, more efficient. It also comes from the great feedback that we have received from our great shareholders that have told us that we need to be faster. And so, I started the company at Capital B alone in terms of the Bitcoin capital markets activity. Then Valentin joined us, and we doubled the Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And now 3 people joined us. So I hope that we can obliterate our Bitcoin accumulation targets with this dream team. And I think that most importantly, that's a long answer to your question, but we are completely focused on the long-term accumulation of Bitcoin, which is of utmost importance, where you have a lot of Bitcoin treasuries that are emerging and everyone wants to get Bitcoin faster, but in our view, not at all costs. You need to take into account in every deal the interest of your retail shareholder base first, and the interest of ethics and the interest of the long-term play. You know, I have a lot of shareholders that tell me I have put all of my wealth into my tax exemption wrapper in France, for example, into Capital B. And what you guys provide is peace of mind. And if I can provide peace of mind through our long-term focus to building strong foundations with a great team and focus on ethical principles for the growth of the company, that will be the best outcome that we can get.
We just saw you speak on stage, and you're always fiery, you're always passionate. You know, we could call you maybe the Robespierre of Bitcoin, bringing in, I think, just a lot of great quotes. Like you said, you know, volatility is vitality, which is something that, you know, Michael Saylor has definitely said. But you also said vitality is opportunity, or the volatility is opportunity. So speaking of opportunity specifically, you recently moved to Abu Dhabi. What are the plans there? What is the strategy behind that move? And what will it unlock for Capital B?
What if you could lower your tax bill and stack Bitcoin at the same time? Well, now you can with Blockware. New tax guidelines from the Big Beautiful Bill will allow American miners to write off 100% of the cost of their mining hardware for a single tax year. That's right, 100%. Blockware's mining as a service allows you to do everything from securing the miners to sourcing low-cost power to configuring the mining pool. They do it all. You get to stack Bitcoin at a discount every single day while also saving for the upcoming tax season. Get started today by going to mining.blockwaresolutions.com/TBE. Again, that's mining.blockwaresolutions.com/TBE. Now back to the interview.
Look, I'm always all in what I do. I believe in the power of focus and putting all of your time and energy into one single thing. And when we had the opportunity to do a very specific SPV out of Luxembourg to raise considerable amount of capital and double the market cap in one single operation, I created the SPV out of Luxembourg before the deal was made for it to be ready when the deal would happen. And the deal happened. So we have a lot of business opportunities that are forming up out of the Middle East. And I believe Abu Dhabi is going to be a capital of the world for Bitcoin treasury strategy. And in that respect, I have moved to Abu Dhabi to seize and develop together with strong partners what can be done in terms of Bitcoin treasury and Bitcoin opportunity. And I think that can be a great advantage for, of course, Capital B, but more greatly, the adoption of Bitcoin overall. And so, of course, I'm limited in what I can say, but I can say that I'm working 24/7 for the success of Capital B and its shareholders, and ultimately for Bitcoin.
So speaking of 24/7, you have a Bitcoin price market that is always operating around the clock. And then you have a lot of treasury companies that are judged by, you know, these stock prices, equity prices that move during market hours. Could you talk a little bit about how even during a period right now where some mNAV multiples have decreased, the Bitcoin per share, which is a core metric focus for you guys, has been increasing. Could you explain a little bit about how the BPS has been evolving?
I think that the world is looking at Bitcoin and Bitcoin treasury companies with the bad tool. The bad tool is fiat. Fiat, in my view, is monopoly bills. So you want to get rid of it as fast as possible to accumulate Bitcoin And if you want then to outperform Bitcoin, then the best risk-adjusted way to do it is to accumulate Bitcoin treasury companies. And Bitcoin treasury companies are accumulating the best asset on earth, which is Bitcoin. And so if you are an investor in a Bitcoin treasury companies, you should understand Bitcoin, you should understand capital markets, and you should have a long-term time horizon. Then there is a lot of market participants that have the mandate to have a short-term time horizon, and traders, and you might know much better than 99% of the people how to make a lot of money even in Bitcoin by trading in the short term. But you also need to know that this short-term activity is not our focus. Our focus is to create the best value creation for the long term, and that includes sometimes short-term opportunities for allocation. But as the same as Bitcoin, you shouldn't look at the price in fiat terms. Bitcoin is at least the value of digital gold, and much more than that in our view. If it would be the same fiat price as digital gold, it would be at least 1 million USD of today's USD. That would be a 10x. So it's like a 90% discount that you have today on Bitcoin itself, at least if you believe that is digital gold. So in Bitcoin treasury company terms, any mNAV below 10x is kind of mispriced in this view, because the balance sheet of the company is literally Bitcoin itself. But then if you are on a Bitcoin standard, you look at, of course, the Bitcoin itself and how that can grow over time. And look, over the last 3 months, the share price has been down by about minus 50 or 60%. And that can affect the morale of newcomer and new investors that came in and that are still learning. And we need to all do a better job at explaining. And that's also why I'm doing a lot of interviews and podcasts to explain the strategy and the long-term focus. But still, in the last 3 to 4 months, our sats per share have been doubled. We were around May at 300 sats per share. We are today at 600 sats per share. And what matters is not the fiat price. What matters is the long-term accretion in Bitcoin terms per share. And that is our full focus. You can look at our website where we have all of the analytics of the strategy. And each operation is adding to the sats per share of the company. So what you have is a team of the best focused individuals and financial engineering specialists that are working every day for you to buy you more Bitcoin exposure over time. At the same time, what you should expect is that since it's an opportunity to outperform Bitcoin, it means that it's potentially more volatile than Bitcoin in fiat terms, and so that you could have a stronger downturn in a short-term period. But if you believe in Bitcoin, and if you believe in the company and the leadership of the company, then any short-term price drop would be what you would consider as an opportunity. And so that's why I mentioned volatility is opportunity, because when it was back in COVID, I got a call from some, candidate presidential election, and they told me, this candidate wants to make sure that there is a stable capital market and so on. And I said, no. If you are young today, you would prefer to have a lot of volatility, because if there is a lot of volatility and you have enough time in your life to sustain that volatility, then it becomes opportunity. And if you have more opportunity, you have the possibility to build more wealth. But that is only possible through conviction and some hard work to be done in terms of the understanding of Bitcoin itself, and comparing what a Bitcoin treasury company can be in different regions, in different capital markets. And the very simple way of looking at this is, what are the financial terms of the company when it issues securities? Is it issued at premiums? Is it accretive in terms of Bitcoin per share? And is it consistent? Is the leadership team Bitcoin maximalist people with the ethics that is required to negotiate the best terms with the financial institution and to literally create new instruments that have never been done before, like the Bitcoin denominated convertible notes that we did, that provide for long-term investors the ability to do a convertible note that historically provides short-term pressure on the stock because there is short interest. Well, you do a Bitcoin convertible note and you get Bitcoin maximalist type investors, and they are long only. And that is just completely outperforming the market. And that's how you get 1,000%, 3,000% performance over 8 to 10 months, while Bitcoin is up 40 to 80%.
Alexander, we have checked out the new Capital B website. We love the transparency. We love to be able to follow the metrics. I know that our friend Radu over at Strategy Tracker has rolled out, early on a great website. And then we love to see that wave. 21 rates, we're all about like, hey, let's get all the data to people for free. You're going to be at the Bitcoin Treasury's Unconference in September, correct?
Yes, I still don't know what will happen at the Unconference, but I have full confidence in the expertise and the talent of Tim Kotzman to put together what will be potentially the best conference of all conferences. So very much looking forward to see what happens and apparently answer some of Michael Saylor questions.
We're looking forward to it. We'll link tickets in the show notes below. Alexander, it's been awesome. It's been amazing to meet your wife as well, and an amazing addition to the team. We're excited to bring you back on. We'll see you likely in New York for the conference, and it's been amazing to watch you on stage. So keep bringing the passion, keep bringing the transparency, and we're excited to follow Capital B.
We are all in on maximizing Bitcoin per share for our shareholders. Thank you so much.